Well, good morning, YouTube. What are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about this kind of interesting buck knife that I had come in from Neeves over at Neeves Knives. Jerad sent me this, and I've been torn on whether I really like this or not. So we're going to just have to leave it at that I'm not 100% sure if I do like it or not. There's some really cool elements to this knife, and there's some things that I'm not really a fan of, and then there's some stuff I'm on the fence about. So without any further ado, if you're watching on headphones, turn down the volume because here comes the music. Knife for a little bit now, and I've carried it a little bit, and it has a lot of elements that I don't like, but all in all, it still is a pretty good knife. I just can't decide whether the pluses outweigh the minuses. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of leave this as a neutral. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this knife. I'm sure if I owned one, I would have enough time to kind of pick and choose the things, whether I actually liked it or not. So we're just going to talk about the things that I see that are good, the things that I see are bad, and just leave it out there and let you guys decide, because this is just one of those ones that I think is going to be one of those things that I'm on the fence about for a long time. So we're going to get the camera out. I've got the specs already set up. I'm going to get I'm sorry, not the camera. We're going to get the scale out, and we'll get some weight. And you can, that way I can do it in grams for you guys. We'll get all the specs. We'll run through the specs that I got, and we'll just talk about the knife in general. So I'll see you guys down there momentarily. So guys, this is the Buck 830 Marksman. Now this is a collaboration between Grant and Gavin Hawk with Buck Knives. And you can see Buck is still using that Bose heat treat, which I have to say the heat treat on this 154 is incredible. The edge on this is great. I don't know if Neeves sharpened this himself or not, but this is one of those knives that I'm still just not 100% sure about. So let's go ahead and we'll get some specs. All right, let's get the specs and everything out of the way. So this is a hollow ground 154 cm blade. So the blade length on this is 3.5 inches with a blade thickness of 0.12. So it's not real thin blade stock. It's fairly robust. Overall length on this is 8.25 inches. Now this does run on bearings, which Buck knives are not famous for having a lot of bearing run knives that were real smooth. There's been a couple of their knives that they've done as flippers, but they just really didn't flip. This one actually is rather snappy. It is an aluminum handle. It is right-hand carry only, but if you don't mind the pocket clip sitting at a different angle, you can technically flip it. I did do it once, and it put the knife at a weird angle. So the pocket clip is angled a little bit, as you can see, ever so slightly. So it put it a little off center, but you can do it. For those of you that are lefties, it says right hand on the websites, but it is not necessarily true. Now, this is the lock that the Grant and Gavin Hawk called the SLS, or the Strong Lock System. And this knife is said to come in right at 4.3 ounces. Let's go ahead and get the scale out. That way I can give it to you guys in grams and ounces. So we'll do ounces first. It says it's 4.3. What am I getting here? 4.25. That's pretty close. Let's go ahead and do it in grams. So in grams, for those of you that don't use freedom units, that's 120 grams. Now, it's not a heavy knife, but it's also not the lightest knife I've ever seen. Now, where this sets itself apart from a lot of the other Bucks is the action on this is really smooth. It snaps open really well, nice and easy. But as you can see, that lock is kind of interesting. Now, I will say that the lock is very strong. I did try to make this lock fail. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but my camera stopped. What I was saying is I did some spine wax on it. Nothing huge over the top or anything like that. But I did a couple spine whacks. The lock did not fail. The lock does not have any slip. I am putting a good bit of pressure on that, and I cannot get it to slip. Now, disengaging the lock, you simply lift up. Now, I have found that to try and do this one-handed is awkward. It does not do near as well to do one-handed as it does to grab the knife like this and close it that way. This brings my first thing that I don't like about this knife. That lock is very strong. There's not a lot of detent with that lock on this side. So this lock works like this. It drops down in. That is your lock interface right there on the top. And you basically just push that out of the way. It is kind of similar to the lock that is on the 8015. It's just done in a different fashion. This is not as easy to disengage as the 8015 was. So basically, I'm using it as a two-handed thing. But since there's no lock bar to put tension on that, that is really free-flowing, falling. And if you do this one-handed, I could see how that just, if you do bypass, it just snaps over. If you had your fingers in the way, as sharp as this is, you would get cut. So the lock, when engaged, I like how it locks up. However, the other elements of the lock, I'm not such a big fan of. It is not an unattractive knife. It's got a good profile. This brings me to my second point. In hand, this spoon shape does stick out outside of the knife, and it can pose comfort issues in hand. Not super sharp, but sharp enough that it's just not as comfortable as it could be. And for a lot of people, I know that's probably not going to be an issue. Like I said, pocket clip does stand up a little bit proud. In my hand, it's a little bit of a hot spot, but not horrible. But overall, the blade shape on this hollow grind, really good. It cuts well. 154M is a really good steel. 154CM, I'm sorry. So the main concerns that I have are like, once that lock is engaged, there's nothing. I mean, it is the smoothest of smoothists until it closes shut. But then, like I said, not a lot of detent in the closed. You can actually snap it open like that. One of the other issues that I have with it is the actual blade grind here. As you can see, it does have a sharpening notch, but if you look at how thick the material is where the sharpening notch still terminates, you can see where people get down into that. Is that a functional thing? No, you can still get it sharp, but it just detracts from the overall. I wish that companies would start bringing that sharpening notch all the way out past the grind termination, like right to about there. It would be a bigger sharpening notch, but then you don't have that detraction from that. John Gray and I disagree about that point right there. He's like, don't even bother put a choil, don't put a notch, don't do anything. You can just sharpen it. It doesn't matter. Just sharpen it up and ramps. Like I said, it does not at all detract from the function of the knife, but what it does do is it's ugly. It's ugly when you sharpen it, and I don't like it. So that's why all of my knives that I own, if it doesn't have a choil that comes all the way back, I put one in. So all in all, I carried this knife a few times. In pocket, it doesn't carry badly. It is a little off center on this one. But like I said, compared to other buck knives that I've had that have a flipper tab, I just find that dangerous to disengage it like that. It seems hazardous to me because you're in a weird position. I think it's just the positioning that makes it feel dangerous. That's why I always do it this way. But like I said, I'm all about buck knives innovating and coming up with new things. I like the action on this knife. I wish a lot of their other flippers just don't flip. They're really stiff. They don't break in. This one has got a really good action. The bearings and the pivot are just about perfect. It's one of those weird ones where I'm not sold on it completely. Now, I will say you can finger flick it. And once it's open, it has a really good blade shape. That is an incredibly good blade shape. Buck knives, blade shapes are function over form all the time. The blade shape on this is great. The hollow grind, it cuts really well. So, you know, it's a U.S. company. Buck Knives, still made in the U.S. Grant and Gavin Hawk collaboration. I like it. I just wish that there was a couple little minor changes. Like I said, I wish that this didn't stick out as far. And I wish that there was, you know, I wish that it didn't, see how you have to get your hand around it to do it one-handed. I just kind of wish that it had a different way of closing. So I will tell you though, that this, like I said, this lock is incredibly strong. There is no play in that. So let's go ahead and we'll turn this around and I'll give you some final thoughts on it. Okay, so the final thing I wanted to bring up, I always do this on this side, is the price. This is not a super cheap knife. It's not cheap by any long stretch of the imagination. It's still a quality knife, and it's an American-made product. You're looking at this, so MSRP on this is $155. That's MSRP. Blade HQ currently has it, let me see, I got it written down here, $114.99 for this knife. Same price on Amazon. If I was gonna do it, I would probably go through Amazon because I could get it delivered much quicker. Amazon delivery is gonna be quicker, I guarantee it. So it's the same price on Amazon and Blade HQ. If you really wanna get one of these and you wanna get the price and get your points, Knife Center has this for $91.99 right now. It's on sale. So if this is a knife you're interested in, that would be the way I would go. This is, size comparison wise, I wanted to do this because they are very similar, blade shape, blade grind, and size to the Sebenza. They are almost identical. So that's why that's in my pocket. I wanted to save that one for an in front. Like I said, I'm so happy that Buck is starting to step out of just the little slip joints and the little, you know, the 110 and the 113 and the 112, and their fixed blades, that, you know, that 120 special, the hunting knife. I'm glad that they're trying to innovate. I really think that if I was given enough time with this knife, that I might start to like it more, but I just don't have time to carry it long enough for that. But like I said, this might be a knife that a lot of people like. I like the fact that they had Grant and Gavin Hawk come up with a, you know, use a new lock system. And yes, I did just cut myself because that's, like I said, there's nothing once that pops over. Just nicked myself a little bit. So I have some issues with the safety of this knife. Like, that's why I always open and close it that way. So all in all, I mean, it's still a really good knife. Price might be a little bit for some, but guys, that's all I got on this. Not horrible, not great. It kind of just falls in there as a meh knife for me. So, all right, guys, that's it. I know that content has been weird lately. I'm trying to get back into producing up more content. I'm gonna get this edited. I'm gonna shoot another one. I'm gonna get a couple videos up today ahead of time so that the paying subscribers can see them ahead of time. So I'm trying to get back into that. I apologize. Guys, that's all I got for today. Take it easy. Take care of yourselves. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. If you like them, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. There's an applause button if you really like them. And check out the videos, the channels that I'm going to post up in the corners. All right. Take it easy. See you next time. Damn it.